The only reason it draws them into the equation is because it's an easy night's work for 75 million quid. Everybody would do it, every fighter would take it, because it's not really fighting. The consequence of it is, the reasons why it's in Florida is because it's one of those Wild West states that will license something like this, because no grown-up state really would license a fight of this significance in terms of a former two-time heavyweight champion of the world against, at best, an area level fight.
The way you beat a guy like that, you're not going to outbox him. If you're waiting on him and he's initiating and he's feinting you into counters and then he's countering the counter, you're going to lose that.
Absolutely not. No chance. No way. I don't even think, and this is being very serious, this shouldn't go beyond a round. There's no way. And Simon said it, this is a former unified heavyweight champion of the world that I still believe is a top 10 heavyweight against, at best, an area level fight.
This is where the danger really begins, as breaking news suggests the Anthony Joshua vs. Jake Paul fight could seriously risk Jake Paul's health. You can't sugarcoat it. Stepping into the ring with a former two-time heavyweight champion is playing with fire.
As someone that's washed up, when he was in their country, he got beat by Andy Ruiz, who's not gone on to do anything. If Andy Ruiz went on to have this glittering career, then it maybe would have made that defeat look a lot bigger. They watched him recently get defeated by Daniel Dubois. They think he's done. So they don't have respect for him maybe the way we do over here. So Jake thinks he can win. I've been around Jake and he's delusional, but he's very strong-minded. So he thinks he can win, but there's no way this should go beyond 3 minutes.
Who's the A side? Who walks into the ring first?
AJ walks into the ring first, so Jake Paul's the A side. It does say Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, not Anthony Joshua.
Tony Bailu is hitting the nail on the head as he lays out the massive size difference. Anthony Joshua is 5 and taller and 100 pounds heavier. And you can see why this fight could be catastrophic for Jake Paul. Until they strap on 10 gloves in the ring, nobody can truly imagine the chaos Joshua could unleash. This isn't a joke. It's a nightmare scenario for Paul, who faces a man on another level in power, skill, and experience. The size alone makes it almost impossible for Jake to survive more than a few rounds.
Anthony Joshua, who's now 5 inches bigger than you, maybe more, or 4 or 5 inches, and about 100 pounds heavier. You just don't go from there right up to there. I don't believe it. And I won't believe it until the two of them got 10-ounce gloves on in a boxing ring. Because if Anthony Joshua puts 10-ounce gloves on and gets in a boxing ring and Jake Paul is in the other corner, this...
Carl Froch makes it painfully obvious that Jake Paul is in over his head. Anthony Joshua is a big punching heavyweight with experience, skill, and knockout power. While Jake Paul has never faced a legitimate heavyweight, losing to Tommy Fury, a cruiserweight, proves he cannot hang with a world-class fighter like Anthony Joshua. This fight isn't just a mismatch. It's dangerous for Paul. Fans must understand Anthony Joshua is on a completely different level. And this is a serious warning.
And fake Paul's never been in with a heavyweight. Like I said earlier, he lost to Tommy Fury, a cruiserweight. He lost to him. Tommy Fury's not even British level. So you can't chuck fake Paul in with Anthony Joshua and take it seriously.
Sam Jones lays out the terrifying reality for Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua's right hand is devastating as seen against Francis Ngannou, and Paul could face serious injury if caught clean. Everyone can joke about Jake Paul being brave, but Anthony Joshua is a legitimate world-class heavyweight. This fight is no publicity stunt. It's a real danger for the influencer-turned-boxer. Fans must understand that stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua carries risks of permanent damage, and one punch could change everything.
We can all joke, but nobody wants any permanent damage to happen to Jake Paul. But if Anthony Joshua hits Jake Paul with the right hand he hit Francis Ngannou with, he could brown bread.
Eddie Hearn's warning is crystal clear. Anthony Joshua could literally take Jake Paul's head clean off his shoulders. This isn't hyperbole. Anthony Joshua is a seasoned professional with knockout power. Jake Paul is stepping into a fight that carries serious responsibility and life-altering risks. The difference in skill, experience, and power is staggering, and fans should recognize the real danger here. This is Anthony Joshua at his peak, not just another opponent. And Paul is flirting with disaster by accepting this challenge.
This ain't David Blaine. I said, so just be careful because AJ will take your head clean off your shoulders, and it's it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And you take on that responsibility, and we all have to. So we got to think about that. But this is Anthony fighting a top 50 cruiserweight in the world. It's not something that we would normally do.
Yeah.
But we all.
Even Jake Paul admits the truth. Anthony Joshua is a __ animal. His power, skill, and presence in the ring are intimidating. And Paul knows it. Fear is natural because Anthony Joshua dominates with a combination of Olympic-level technique and devastating punching power. Paul's bravado can only take him so far. The reality is that Anthony Joshua is a world-class heavyweight, and stepping into the ring with him is far more
fucking animal. Like,
Johnny Nelson does not sugarcoat it. Jake Paul is crazy to think he can survive a fight with Anthony Joshua, a former two-time heavyweight champion who never plays touch and always finishes opponents. Paul is only in it for showmanship and money, teasing the public with bold claims. Anthony Joshua's experience, power, and composure make him a knockout threat. And Paul stepping into the ring is a dangerous gamble. Fans need to see this fight for what it really is, a high-risk spectacle.
Easy. If he thinks he can get it with Anthony Joshua, former two-time heavyweight champion of the world, and play tiddlywinks, I don't think AJ plays touch. He plays knock.
Tommy Fury is brutally honest. If he can beat Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua would dismantle him in seconds. Even with a broken arm, Anthony Joshua's skill and power would end the fight almost instantly. Jake Paul stepping into the ring with a true elite heavyweight is borderline suicidal. The gap in experience, technique, and knockout power is massive, making this one of the most dangerous matchups in recent boxing history. Fans should understand the stakes are life-altering for Paul.
Can beat Jake Paul. And excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it's still...
Simon Jordan is right on the mark. Jake Paul entering the ring with Anthony Joshua is absurd. Anthony Joshua is a two-time heavyweight champion with proven skill, power, and experience at the highest level. Losing to Daniel Dubois doesn't diminish his ability. Anthony Joshua is still a physically elite fighter capable of executing his game plan perfectly. Mentally, Anthony Joshua may have faced a setback, but his professionalism and dedication ensure he will be fully prepared. Jake Paul is walking into a fight far beyond his capabilities, and fans should expect a brutal mismatch.
Welfare, but Jake Paul going into a fight with Anthony Joshua, to me, is absurd. I mean, Anthony Joshua is a legitimate two-time heavyweight champion of the world. He may have got destroyed by Daniel Dubois, but notwithstanding, there's nothing physically wrong with Anthony Joshua that he can't execute. Mentally, he might be in a little bit of a difficult position after the loss to Daniel Dubois. Jake Paul, if this is not going to be, curated...
Spencer. Oliver sums up the danger perfectly. God help Jake Paul because Anthony Joshua has already dismantled Francis Ngannou with surgical precision in just a few rounds. Jake Paul comes from a completely different world of boxing and has only faced one legitimate boxer in Tommy Fury, and he lost. Anthony Joshua is operating at a level far above Jake Paul's experience. Fans must realize this fight isn't entertainment for Anthony Joshua. It's a showcase of skill and power, and Jake Paul is dangerously overmatched.
God help Jake Paul, that's all I can say. We saw that what Anthony Joshua had done to Francis Ngannou. He went out there and iced him in a couple of rounds. A guy coming from a different discipline. Well, this kid's coming from another level. White-collar boxing in 2018. Gone through the mill, and the only boxer really that he's actually boxed, a legitimate boxer he got beat by, and that was in Tommy Fury.
David Benvids is being honest and respectful while making a serious point. Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua is extremely dangerous. Anthony Joshua is a multiple-time heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist with power, technique, and experience that far exceed anything Jake Paul has faced. Even though Jake Paul has courage and showmanship, the reality is a knockout is highly likely. Anthony Joshua is a master of his craft. And fans must understand that this is not a fair fight, but a battle that highlights the gap between a true champion and a social media fighter.
respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion.
Abel Sanchez highlights the obvious mismatch. This fight carries almost zero risk for Anthony Joshua and immense reward in terms of exposure and earnings. For Jake Paul, it's a farce. He has been beaten by Tommy Fury and has not faced anyone challenging enough to test his skills. Anthony Joshua's power, technique, and experience make him a virtually unstoppable opponent, and stepping in against him is extremely dangerous. Fans should recognize that this fight heavily favors Anthony Joshua, and Jake Paul is taking a massive gamble.
In a fight for AJ, very little risk, extremely little risk, and a big reward. I mean, why would you not take it? But as a fight fan, I thought it was a farce. I mean, Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul. It may not be, it may be a little while back, but still, he hasn't improved that much. And he hasn't been fighting anybody that's posed a problem for him. You're talking about a gold.
Alexander Usyk puts it bluntly. Jake Paul is not a real boxer, and taking a fight against Anthony Joshua is reckless. Anthony Joshua is a professional Olympic champion and highly skilled heavyweight who can end fights quickly. This is only Jake Paul's second serious boxing fight. And the gap in skill, experience, and ring IQ is staggering. Usyk's point is clear. Anthony Joshua operates on a level far above anything Jake Paul can handle. Fans should understand that this fight is extremely dangerous for
Last fight, it's great. Because Anthony is Olympic champion, Francis Ngannou is second fight for boxing. Listen.
Devin Haney perfectly captures the shock of this matchup. Jake Paul stepping into the ring against Anthony Joshua is reckless and almost unthinkable. Anthony Joshua is one of the best fighters in the world. A solidified champion with unmatched skill, experience, and power. Facing him is not just challenging. It is extremely dangerous for Jake Paul, whose previous fights cannot prepare him for this level. Fans should understand the sheer risk involved and why Anthony Joshua is favored in every aspect. This is a battle that heavily favors Anthony Joshua and exposes Jake Paul's limitations.
I was surprised that Jake took the fight rather than Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is one of the best fighters in the world. He's a solidified champion. But I'm surprised that Jake took the fight and is fighting a guy that's so dangerous like Anthony Joshua. So I got to take my hat off to him. Because we were saying that he's fighting this person past their prime, this person's old and whatnot, and now he's fighting.
Anthony Joshua shows exactly why he is a true champion. His focus, dedication, and drive are unmatched, and he is constantly pushing himself to higher levels. While Jake Paul may rely on hype and social media attention, Anthony Joshua builds his legacy through preparation and discipline. He understands the demands of the game and is always seeking environments that challenge him and enhance his skills. Fans can see that Anthony Joshua is mentally and physically prepared to dominate in the ring. And this mindset makes him an incredibly dangerous opponent for anyone, including Jake Paul.